Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. It is currently 27 degrees outside, and I'm out at the farm getting even more firewood because between our house and my grandmother's house, we did not prep the way we should have. And it's one of those things that my grandpa always bought wood from people. I think he hit a point in his life where he was retired and he wasn't going to do this kind of stuff. And I had told myself, I'm so young, I like to work out. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to get the wood that we need. And we still have a decent amount at the house. But what I'm lacking is more of the small stuff to really get this bigger stuff going. And I'm also just kind of cleaning up stuff. I just chopped up a oak that had been down for maybe 7 or 8 months. So it's not the best seasoned stuff, but it's a good thickness. And as you can see, it's mostly pines out here. So a lot of the smaller stuff that I got is pine, which in our area, that's what a lot of people burn. It's more of a higher commodity to burn other stuff. So I'm going to get this stuff picked up. And this is one of those things, if you have a piece of property, like I have not had to cut down any live trees, except for like the occasional cedar that I use specifically for a project. But all of the wood that I've gotten has either come from marketplace or out here, and nothing has had to be cut down that's nice and green. It's mostly deadfall. The thing with that is you are going to run into varying stages of decay in the wood. You can just kind of leave it. We will occasionally burn some stuff, like some of this pine that I've picked up is kind of starting to rot, but this is the kind of stuff that's gonna get the fire going nice and hot, that I can put big logs and leave it running for a while. So I'm gonna get this oak. I'll show you a little bit of that, and then I'm probably off to find the next, most easily accessed tree. So I got some pretty decent pieces out of this. This is the kind of stuff that my grandma will burn because it is, each of these pieces are only a couple of pounds, and it's really easy for her to go out and get. When I'm there, I'll make the fire and I'll bring in a day or two's worth of the wood, but this is the kind of stuff in the middle of the night, the fire's dying, it's starting to get colder in the house. She can very easily toss this stuff on there. And I got most of the good wood from that tree. Here's like this end piece. I'm gonna toss it back. And same with this piece. This one is mostly just dry rot, and it can turn back into soil. But from that one down tree that was just going to turn back into dirt, I probably got 3 days worth of wood. It's one of those things that where we live, it gets very cold. It doesn't stay cold enough during the day to almost want to keep a fire going. 24/7. But, you know, we've had plenty of days where, you know, in the day, it'll be, you know, mid to high 30s. And at night, it'll get down into the low 20s and into the teens. You know, Northeast Texas has fairly reasonable weather. You know, obviously, the further north you go, the more you're going to want to prioritize getting wood and keeping it stocked up. And see, we've got piles like this all over the place. I think the last time they cut trees out here, it's almost 15 years ago. So yeah, this poor cedar, I'm stepping on it and it's falling apart. But I think I could comfortably get all of the wood that we needed. It's time consuming. So, you know, that's one of those prepping things that where we live between the two houses, we might do 4 or 5 cords for the 2 houses, and that's the entirety of our winter. But that doesn't take into consideration having wood on hand to cook with. And a lot of this stuff that I'm getting, I would not use for cooking wood. So I'm kind of on the lookout for some of that as well. Maybe pick up 3 or 4 days extra of if we had to cook all of our food on a fire. Gotta stay hydrated with that Diet Dr. Pepper. But we're off to the next spot. And see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I drove 50 yards down the road. We've got another down tree here. Some of the stuff on the end is definitely pretty rotten, but I could probably get 7 or 8 decent pieces out of this one. I see a smaller one over here. That'll probably benefit the grandma. Let's see how. Oh yeah. That's still got some weight to it. Oh, it's a pretty long piece too. Alright. Let's get that chopped up. Alright, that's another 8 or 9 pieces. And we're starting to get a half decent truckload. With an 8-foot bed, almost 2 foot on the side. We get, if it's completely stacked perfectly, there's nothing in here, and you stack a little bit over the edges, you can get a little bit more than half a cord in there. So that's what I am attempting to get, is between a face cord and half a cord. But I'll keep recording till I find the next decent tree. I've got enough pine, and I'm more looking for some of the oak, or if I can find, you know, maybe a down cedar. That way I can get some half decent branches, because our fireplace only has, you know, just the brick insert. And so you need some decent kindling to really get it going. See, look, there's a cedar right there. Let's see how rotten that is. See if it's worth getting. And I know I could be more efficient with this. Like, I could, you know, look at 5 or 6 trees in a spot, cut them down, maybe put them on top of something just to help with them drying out. And then I could come pick them up in 6 months to, 6 to 9 months. And I could just isolate myself in one spot and make things easier. But I also enjoy being out here. The walking around, the, being out in the woods, figure out more things about where I'm at. That's the fun of it. Like, for instance, about probably almost a year ago, I found a 32-ounce Gatorade bottle from the 70s. I only know that because they were glass. And just today, I found a 16-ounce one. Gatorade Thirst Quencher. And unfortunately, this one, the last one I found still had the metal cap on it. This one didn't, so I've got some grime to clean out of it. But, my family's lived here since Spain was selling land to Americans to move out here. There's remnants of an old cabin that was built 140, 150 years ago. There's, the endless amount of camping that we've done out here. The working on the bug out location, which hopefully will pick up soon. Depends on the financial situation. But the last thing I'll say before I start, sawing this up is I am using a 311 steel chainsaw. It was my grandpa's. If you want to do this even cheaper, it's very similar to a Silky. It's a Comelon, made in Korea. I got it for Christmas. I'm really enjoying it. Oh yeah, this is still nice and solid. It cut through that pretty quick. I've got a hatchet that I'm probably going to clean this up with before I get the wood. But you don't have to use a chainsaw. It just makes things faster, more efficient, and eventually you do get tired of the sawing. But from a prepping standpoint, I do think it's important to do some of your wood gathering with manual tools. That way you can appreciate the amount of time that it takes to use them and collect your wood, because it helps out with the whole, stack to the rafters. When times are good is when you should be working on getting your stuff together. That way you're not having to do a bunch of stuff like this when times are not so good. So I'm going to do less talking. I'm going to do more cutting up wood so I can get back to the house and enjoy my MLK day that I have off. And hopefully I won't have to come out and get more wood this year. But like I said, you need to stack to the rafters with all of your prepping supplies. So this is one of those kind of things where it's better to get way more than you need, find a place to store it. That way you are more prepared for the bad things to happen. It's a new year. I'm going to do my best to work on doing more videos. I say that a lot. It just depends on life. But if you enjoy this content, hit the subscribe button, like the video, share it with your friends and family. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.